to Atro's side.
Death to the Savior!
I'd introduce myself, but I'm guessing that you already know who I am.
The Final Fantasy XIII trilogy has seen plenty of criticism in regards to its story, gameplay, and characters, especially Lightning. Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII seems to try to break that trend by focusing almost entirely on our heroine and her journey towards the end of the world with a very bold and new combat system. Is Lightning's return enough to end the trilogy on a high note? The story, as mentioned before, revolves around Lightning and her mission as a savior. The world of Nova Crystallia is going to be destroyed by the chaos unleashed after the events of 13-2, and God wishes to pretty much have a do-over. He tasks Lightning to save as many souls as she can before the end comes in order to populate his new world. In exchange, God will revive Lightning's sister Sarah. Seems like a pretty good deal, right? Lightning, along with her partner in crime Hope, travels throughout the remaining world in order to save the souls.
You have an hour before you will be transported to the Ark. You need to return to the Ark at 6 every morning, without question. It's nearly 6.
Mike, can you hear me? I'm getting your feelings.
Buzz off, Hope.
Characters from previous installments of the trilogy, such as Snow and Noel, make a return, but they are not their usual selves. Snow is overcome by grief after the loss of Sarah and rules over the glittering city of Yusnaan. And Noel pretty much wants Lightning dead in order to bring back his future-seeing girlfriend, Yule. Yeah, since the whole world is ending, everyone is pretty much depressed, but that drives the plot. Lightning needs to save these people in order for them not to feel fear and anger, while at the same time, she begins to get more emotionally connected with the people she saves, as it helps her get closer to saving her sister. The game tries to make Lightning more likable, but she still likes to shut out others. Near the end of the story, she loosens up and her character gets some closure, but it does take a while for her character to develop. Those who didn't enjoy 13 as much as others will start to get annoyed with Lightning's lack of energy near the beginning.
Chocobo, it's time to tell! What are the magic words?
Meow meow choco chow.
That was adorable! Here, this is for you!
I'm getting the feeling you're not as amused as I am by this whole thing.
That was by far the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life. Just get it back to
Enough about story, let's talk about the new and improved combat. Gone is the team of 3 in Lightning Returns. Lightning is now a one-man army with the ability to transform into 3 different outfits or schema that grant her abilities and strength based on her equipment. Combat itself is formed so that you're a bit more on the offensive. You still gotta be strategic on which schema you want to use for fights, and how you should fight, since each outfit has its own HP, ATB value, strength, and defense. Also, since you don't heal after battles, it's best to be cautious. With your 3 outfits, you have a total of 12 different attacks, 4 for each outfit. Another neat feature is the overclock mechanic, which slows down time for Lightning's enemies and allows you to build up the stagger wave, which is an altered version of the stagger meter from 13 and 13-2. The world of Nova Crystallia is about to be destroyed, and you only have a certain amount of time to save the souls of humans. You go through each day trying to save as many humans as possible. The best way to do so is by completing the vast amount of quests provided. There are 5 main quests that allow the story to move forward, while the side quests provide items and growth. Since there is no experience gained through battles, the only way to power Lightning up is through side quests and your schemata. There is a clock on the screen which tells you how much time you have until the end of the day and eventually Doomsday, similar to games like Majora's Mask. However, you can extend this time by helping people through their side quests. Doing so will give you something called Iradia, which you can use to extend the world's time so you can have up to 13 days of exploration, but the end of the world will still arrive. If time seems to not favor you, Lightning has an ability called Chronostasis, which stops time for a short while at the expense of EP. This is an extremely helpful tool when you happen to attempt a quest that involves a time limit, or you just want to not waste time going from one place to another. Every day, when it is 6 AM, Lightning will be transported to the Ark, which is a place where time stands still, giving you a moment to prepare for the next day. The time limit on the world may seem like a very intimidating concept in the game, but it is not as bad as it seems. Side quests are mostly fetch quests that require you to find an object that a monster has or is hidden somewhere around the world. This is where exploration comes into play. Traveling through the 4 different regions and just walking around is enough to find quest items and monsters. You can even find the items before you start the quest. There could be a chance that you might complete 10 side quests in one day, and in that time you complete the main quest of the region, easily granting you an extra day or 2. Also, since some areas and people only show up after a certain time of day, it's best to just go nuts traveling. Mix exploration with the use of Chronostasis and battling monsters to regain EP and money, and you won't have to worry about running out of time. Since Nova Chrysalia is a dying world, there are only 4 regions, but each have its own unique quests and items, and you are free to explore these areas whenever you wish. Visually, most areas of the world look great, such as the glittering city of Yusnan and the holy city of Lexarian, and battles are extremely hectic with all the effects of magic filling the screen. However, there are some areas and people that just look bleh. From a distance it looks nice, but get closer and you start to see the faults. Frame rate is also a pretty big issue as it happens to drop almost half the time and it makes everything look weird. Also, you will see the NPCs load into their areas from time to time. However, there is no denying that these areas are full of life. Lightning makes a return in a pretty big way. Sure, she may not be the most popular character in the Final Fantasy franchise, and she doesn't seem to change that much, at least until the end. But the combat and the Doomsday counter is absolutely thrilling, even though you don't have to worry all the time. If you want a strong story, Lightning Returns doesn't offer the best, but it is simple, and it works as a satisfying closer to the trilogy. The fast and fluid combat is one of the game's biggest strengths, and the added New Game Plus mode is extremely addicting as it allows you to complete quests that you weren't able to before. It gives you the ability to make Lightning a powerhouse. The game still has some faults in the visual department, but there's no denying that most of this dying world looks great. Lightning Returns makes dealing with Doomsday fun.